this morning? I don't think I've got your attention quite yet. I'm going to ask that again. How is everyone this morning? There we go. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. I'm Reverend Jonathan Zenz. We are a spiritual community here at Unity of Tucson, celebrating all there is to celebrate. And for me, the allness is love. So let's celebrate love today. What do you say? Does that sound like a good plan? Yes. If you want to, feel free to stand up and move your body as we engage in this beautiful opening Eddie Watkins tune. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the light in you. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Oh yeah, we do come together in the name of love. You know, I said a couple weeks ago, or was it last week? I don't even remember. I love how, you know who RuPaul is, the drag queen, and oftentimes will open up shows by saying, everybody say love. So everybody say love. Everybody say love. Everybody say love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I love me and I love you too. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, in every walk of life.
Every walk of life.
In every creed and color. In kinship we unite. To honor the light in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Indeed, we do come together in the name of love. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I've got a big old smudge on my glasses that's driving me crazy. So I'm just going to take care of that real quickly. I moved very quickly. I think our new camera operator, Greg, probably caught that because he's really good. So once again, good morning and welcome to Unity of Tucson. Welcome to another beautiful high-energy Sunday morning. We've got some great stuff lined up for you today. I am just so excited to be here. I just am. Mostly I'm excited to be here in this thing called life. How about you? You know, life is a beautiful thing. Life is a really, really magnificent thing. And I love to celebrate it. And that's one of the things, we celebrate love, we celebrate life, we celebrate light at the core of our beingness. That's what unity is all about. It's about understanding that we are each and every one of us, this love, this light, this life, this magnificence that is divine essence. Because we teach in unity that there is no outside God. God is a creative principle and energy, and that is what we are. And so as we celebrate that, we get to activate that in our lives. And when we activate that in our lives, we create the construct of our lives. And that's what it's all about. So we're here to celebrate, to lift up the energy and live in high spirits. And what do you say? Does that sound like a good thing today? Yes. All right. I do want to acknowledge that today is the first Sunday of the month. And you may have been asked as you were coming in if you were celebrating a birthday during the month of October. If you weren't asked, I apologize, but there's a thing that we do here on the first Sunday of the month. We do a draw. And what we ask is that if you're celebrating a birthday during the month, fill out the form and put it into the basket, and we'll do a draw a little bit later in the service. What the draw does is if your name is chosen, we will contribute a portion of our tithe as a community to the charity of your choice. And so there are forms to be filled out. Is anyone here celebrating in October that has not filled out a form? I see Christina is raising her hand. So just want to make sure that you all have access to the forms and you get to fill them out, and that looks like the only one. So there we are. So the other thing I've been saying recently, as Christina fills out her form, is this. You ready? You may not believe everything you hear today, but you will hear something you believe. Yeah. One of the things that I believe and I hold clear on is that we have a magnificent vision here at Unity of Tucson, and I would be delighted if you would share these words with me. Let's say this out loud. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. What does it mean to be awakened? It means to be alive and aware and know the truth of our being. The vision is how we see the world. And, the vision is, I would love for everyone on this entire planet to truly understand the magnificence that they are. And there's a way we can get there. There is a way that we can get there. The mission is how we get there. So we have adopted a mission here at Unity of Tucson, and if you would say these words with me, this is our mission. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Yes. If you're joining us for the first time today, if you're watching online and joining us for the first time today, we'd love to know that you have joined us. There is a place where you can just let us know. Go to unitytucson.com/connect, and you can fill out some information there. And just let us know that you are present and part of our spiritual family this morning. If you are here in the room and you are here for the very first time today, we would love it, and it's entirely up to you. I just want to be very clear, because this made me very uncomfortable when I first walked into a New Thought church. It was like, everybody who's new, stand up. If you are new and you would like to identify yourself, please feel free to stand, because we have a gift for you. Grateful to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. And if you would, please remain standing. If you would remain standing for just a moment. Remain standing, because there's something that I need to let you know, that we here at Unity of Tucson have done our research. We know something about you, and this community is ready to share that with you. Are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You are magnificent. Yes, you are. Thank you so much. Thank you for shining your light and sharing your magnificence with the world. And you know what? We know that about you, because we accept that about ourselves. And I think we should all exclaim for ourselves this: I am magnificent. Yes, indeed, we are magnificent. So we're going to take a few moments now to settle into some quiet time. I'm going to invite us all, if you're online, I'd love for you to just reach out, type into the chat just some hellos, just to connect with the community that are watching with you today. And if you're in the room, just take a look around. You don't need to stand up. Just take a look around and catch the eyes of some other people who are here with you. There may be familiar faces. There may be unfamiliar faces. But at the core, what we are seeing is God. We are seeing God in the faces of every single person we encounter. So as we allow ourselves to take some quiet time, some centering or some meditation, just keep in mind that that is the truth of our being. That each and every one of us is this God essence. If it's comfortable, if you'd like to close your eyes, you're welcome to do so. I choose to close my eyes as it allows me to turn my attention to the inner life. And I acknowledge that this inner life, this life of thought, this life of belief, this life of feeling, these are the things that are unfolding themselves as the expression of my life. And this is true for each and every one of us. Our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, all work together to create the expression of our lives. Thought, belief, and feeling, this is the activity of God as us. Allowing ourselves to settle in a little bit more to this understanding. Let's take a focus on our breath without controlling it. Let us deepen into the awareness that the breath is happening. It's doing its perfect work to nourish the body. And with every inhale, every gentle inhale, let us imagine we are breathing in love. And with every exhale, we are sharing that love. Breathing in love and sharing the love. Each month, I offer an affirmation for contemplation. For the month of October, our theme is creativity. Creativity is the action of God. And so I'm going to speak the words of this month's affirmation a few times. Then I'll invite us all to sit in quiet contemplation of these words for just a few moments. The affirmation this month is, I dream it, I perceive it, I accept it, I achieve it, and I know what it is for me. I dream it, I perceive it, I accept it, I achieve it, and I know what it is for me. Let's just take that into contemplation for a few moments. I dream it, I perceive it, I accept it, I achieve it, and I know what it is for me. In the silence there is peace.
silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As I open my heart to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could ever be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. I find God, I find myself, I find myself when I find God. For when I seek, I settle into the recognition that that which is doing the seeking is the very thing that seeks itself out, and this is the truth of each and every one of us. For there is only one infinite power, there is only one infinite presence, there is God and nothing else. And so I relax into this understanding and I allow my mind to entertain this understanding more fully now than perhaps any time ever before. And I invite each and every one of us to do the same, to entertain the notion that there is only God, this greatness on demand, this infinite creative principle, this energy. It is all that exists. There is nothing else. And this is the truth of who we are. This is our identity. Each and every one of us is this God essence. We are the very power. We are the very presence. We are divine. And in understanding this, I lay claim here, knowing that the claim I speak is backed by the power of infinite creativity, infinite creation. I claim for each and every one of us that we are on the right path, the path of love, the path of light, the path of life, the path of peace, the path of harmony, the path of wisdom, and that there is a consistent unfoldment of God essence as our lives. And so claiming this, I simply, with gratitude in my heart and overflowing from within, allow it to be so. I relax, trust, and know it as so. And so it is. Amen. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As I open my heart to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could ever be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. Oh, I find God. I find myself.
It's one of my favorite songs. It's nice to be able to just take it all in the moment, too. I would like to invite Winnell Waters to the stage. Winnell is one of our keepers of the flames. And she is here today to light the flames of faith, this ritual that I brought to this community because it resonates with my soul, and I'm grateful to share it. And some people have asked me, did you come up with that? I didn't come up with this. It's done in a number of churches, and I've adopted it for us. I also want to acknowledge something before we start lighting the candles, and that is the keepers of the flames each week. You'll notice that they wear this. It's actually a lei. It's of kukui nut. It's a kukui nut lei, which you can get when you're in Hawaii. And we have adopted this as one of the symbols of the keepers of the flames, because in Hawaii, the kukui nut is actually what used to keep light going, because you could drill it out in the oil that was in there. You could actually light it like a little candle. So it's called the candle nut as well. So it is a representation that they are keepers of the flames. They're keepers of the light. And so for each candle that we light here, we are honoring the faith traditions, the religious paths, the spiritual ideas that exist throughout the world, and knowing and understanding that each and every one of them is rooted in a golden thread of love. That's what we are here to know. And so we begin by lighting a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony, and for any seekers who may be unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are keeping open for them in our hearts. And this final candle we light is the healing candle. It represents the healing of any circumstance that requires the uncovering of the divine essence, for that is how we teach healing within this philosophy, that understanding that God's at the core of all creation allows us to experience healing in the physical world. And so this is your candle for whatever it is that is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. The candle here on your left is our peace candle. We keep the peace candle consistently illuminated with this understanding that it is representing the consistent illumination of peace in our hearts. And as we allow that infinite peace at our core to inform our thoughts, our actions, our intentions, we create a more peaceful experience in this thing called life. And so let's honor this candle by reading together the prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace begins to reign in the world. Indeed it does. So Winnell, thank you. If you are confused as to what's happening, I'm going to explain it. Thank you so much, Winnell, our keeper of the flames today. Normally, you may have become accustomed to me interviewing our keeper of the flames and asking them about last week's homework. If you're new to this community, I give homework every week. And I invite you to take it into your heart and activate it. And usually our Keeper of the Flames reflects on what the homework was and how they worked it throughout the week. And I sent an email to Winnell earlier in the week, and I said, "You're off the hook this week." And she responded, she said, "I am never off the hook. I do the homework." Right? It's true. The reason I'm not interviewing our Winnell today is because we have a special ceremony that we're going to do today. And I want to lead off by saying this. Charles Fillmore wrote this about prayer. He said, "Prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known. It steps up mental action until our consciousness synchronizes with the Christ mind. It is the language of spirituality." And so, the primary spiritual tool that we teach within Unity is prayer. We teach prayer and meditation. Prayer is primary. If you would like to change your experience of life, prayer is where it's at. That's how we do it. And we have a magnificent group of people that we are dedicating into service today. They are the new crop of prayer chaplains at Unity of Tucson. And so I would like you to please welcome Laura Cass, who will be making her way up to the stage to begin this dedication experience. And she's going to bring up the prayer chaplains as well, and you'll get introduced to all of them. So welcome, Laura Cass.
I think we're really going to be Gladys Knight and the Pips here just as soon as we get wound up. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Well, as Jonathan said, prayer is in the heart of what we do. Prayer is the heart of every religion, every church in the world. It's what brings us here every Sunday and other times. It's what brings us together. And I have been waiting for over a year, probably closer to 2 years, to stand before you now and talk about the Prayer Chaplain Program. In 2005, Reverend Leilani Burt of Unity of Phoenix saw a need to broaden and deepen the prayer experience across their congregation and to serve as support for the serve as lay support for the ministry. This program is now in Unity churches all across the United States. And when I came here from another congregation 2 years ago, it was just in time for this major transition, changeover of ministers, pandemic hitting, and I found myself as the last chaplain standing. Well, there was, no way I could even talk to anybody at that point because we weren't connecting physically. So a year ago, last month, I was able to join a virtual training program, put together by Leilani's ministry, which is now called Love and Light Ministry. And I joined this virtual training, and I had been a prayer chaplain for about 10 years, but the training then certified me to become a trainer. So this has been a year of being trained, finding people who have it in their heart, their love, to pray with all of you. So what our mission is simply it, is to pray. We are not licensed, although the program is. We are not counselors, we're not fixers, but we offer affirmative prayer for whatever it is that's in your heart. And this can be something that is maybe difficult. It may be something like, wow, it's a beautiful day and we're alive in Tucson. This is fabulous. Let's just go for it. It can be that. So they're all trained, having gone through 6 or 7 months now of pulling this together. So it's professional. We are proud to be here. It's been quite a long road of many months. We are so honored to be able to step forward and say, we are now here ready to serve this congregation in prayer, to help Jonathan, again, to broaden, deepen the prayer experience. And we can do this in two ways. After each service on Sunday, there will be at least two of us available here in the congregation. After the service, we will be here in the sanctuary, make ourselves known to you, and you can approach us, request confidential prayer. Also, as you exit the sanctuary today, and immediately to your left, there's a prayer box, and there are sign-up pieces of paper there that we're asking for your name, your phone number, your email, and once a month, you will receive a call from your own assigned prayer chaplain to pray about whatever it is on your mind. And this is totally confidential. No one knows who is on anybody's list. I'm the only person that knows because I assign that. So this is your personal prayer time monthly. And we're very excited about that and hope that you will take advantage of it. We're here to serve you. We're honored to do so, and we could not be more thrilled. And as Jonathan said early, we dream it, and going through all the middle parts for about a year, and here we are achieving it. So I invite you, please, to take advantage of our services. We would just be very, very happy to do that for you. So I'm going to turn this over to Jonathan.
Thank you, Laura. So we have a dedication ceremony to dedicate these magnificent, beautiful, beautiful beings into service as prayer chaplains here at Unity of Tucson. I'm just going to adjust a little bit. I'm the minister. I get to make these kinds of decisions. And so I'm going to ask you some questions. The expected response is, I do. If you have anything other than I do to say, well then, and we're not getting married. But if you have something other than I do to say, then we should chat. So this sacred path you choose to walk is being honored here today. You have chosen to be of service by living fully the principles we teach. Each of you has followed your heart and has answered your calling. Being a prayer chaplain is a sacred call and a journey of love. Do each of you today promise to uphold the principles of unity in everything you say, in everything you do, and in everything you are? If so, please say, I do. I do. Do you promise to live in conscious awareness of your own divinity and behold the divine perfection in all who may call upon you? If so, please say, I do. Do you dedicate yourselves to hold inviolate the confidentiality and identity of those who come to you for prayer, unless you receive their express permission to do otherwise? If so, please say, I do. Do you promise to abide by the ethical standards of service as prescribed by Unity? If so, please say, I do. Do you dedicate yourselves to the discipline of regular and faithful affirmative prayer so that you may expand the expression of your life? If so, please say, I do. Do you dedicate yourselves to serve whomever may call upon you in time of need? If so, please say, I do. Do you dedicate yourselves to a constant recognition of the God source energy within all people, regardless of race, gender, faith, orientation, or station in life? If so, please say, I do. Do you dedicate yourself to continued study to expand your consciousness so that you may be more effective in your chosen way? If so, please say, I do. All right, then. I now charge you, Sherry Hoffman, to go forth into the world, permitting those who come to you to be healed by your presence and by your example. I now charge you, Deborah Walker, to go forth into the world, permitting those who come to you to be healed by your presence and by your example. I now charge you, Lydia Eisenberger, to go forth into the world, permitting those who come to you to be healed by your presence and your example. And I now charge you, Sue Craik, to go forth into the world, permitting those who come to you to be healed by your presence and by your example. And I now charge you, Laura Cass, to go forth into the world, permitting those who come to you to be healed by your presence and by your example. Please welcome the prayer chaplains of Unity of Tucson.
Deborah and I will be the people waiting.
Okay. And I've just been informed that after the service today, you will have the benefit of seeing either Deborah or Laura as our prayer chaplains in service today. Congratulations. Thank you so much. The featured song today is in honor of the prayer chaplains. Oftentimes I try to align it with my message of the day. It actually has nothing to do with my message of the day. But the one thing that I know about these particular individuals is that they have dedicated themselves to seeing the true colors in us all. You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged, oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside you can make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, just call me up, because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I'll see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, just call me up, you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors. Your true colors are shining through. I see your true colors, that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Thank you. Thank you. So as I said, the song has nothing to do with my message today. It really is for the prayer chaplains and the dedication that they have taken into their hearts to see the true colors in everyone whom they encounter. And that's quite a calling. I mean, it is quite a calling. I remember when I first became, I for those of you who are, I'm like, who isn't aware anymore? For those of you who are not aware, I did not start off as a Unity minister when I became a minister. I started off in the religious science branch of New Thought. And before becoming a minister, you have to become what they call a practitioner. A practitioner, and it's a prayer practitioner, a licensed prayer practitioner, someone who, in a similar way, works with people in prayer. And one of the things I've always held to is that ministers learn how to run a church, but we are each and every one of us, first and foremost, practitioners. As prayer chaplains, you are practitioners of prayer. And it is important to me that prayer be primary. There's a flying thing in my face. That prayer, sometimes it just happens, right? That prayer be primary as a practice. And so that's a high calling, to make yourself available to others, to serve. And if you are interested, I'm just going to say, if you are interested in being a prayer chaplain here at Unity of Tucson, please speak to me, speak to Laura. We can invite you onto that path. And it's quite a path. So that said, I now have to begin my message today by telling you this. I have a little bit of a problem. And together, here's what I know. We can find a solution. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about, what the problem is and how I have come to be unsettled by this problem in just a few moments. But I want to start by really talking about conformity, because that's really where it all stems from. My problem stems from this idea that I, in some way, must conform to what everyone else is thinking or what everyone else is saying. And if we teach anything within Unity or anything within the New Thought movement, we are teaching to not conform, to let go of this notion that we are conformists in any way. Do y'all remember the movie Dead Poets Society? Yeah. I love that movie. It may be that I was coming of age and going through a particular kind of awakening at 16. And it was, this is going to sound, I don't mean to sound crass, but I'm going to put it out there this way. And I went and saw this movie multiple times in the theater because it was really attractive young men. Get it? I love that. Some people are applauding, like, oh, yes. That, all kidding aside, the message of that movie ultimately is to not be a conformist. And I think that really resonated with my soul before I understood what it really meant. And I think that's ultimately why I was drawn to that particular movie and that particular story. So there's this one scene in the story where Professor Keating, played by Robin Williams, has his class come out into the courtyard, and he says, just start walking in a circle. And he says, there are no grades at stake, just take a stroll, right? And so it's three of the students who start walking in the courtyard, and they start going in a circle, and they're all walking in their own rhythm and time and everything. And eventually they all sync up so that they're all marching along, basically, taking the same steps. And as they're doing so, the rest of the class is standing to the side watching this happen, and they all start clapping along in time. And Professor Keating asks them why they think they started walking. He said, it is so easy to conform. It is so easy to conform. And he said, and to those of you who are standing on the sidelines, thinking, oh, well, I would have walked in my own rhythm and pace, ask yourself why you were clapping. So easy to go down that road of conformity. We can fall into it so quickly. And I know that a major part of my ministry, and I've talked about this a lot, especially having shown up here, because I've had to release, I've had to release my notions of conformity to a particular branch of the New Thought movement to open myself up to something new by becoming a Unity minister. Because there's a lot of conformity in organization. There's conformity in religious science, there's conformity in divine science, there's conformity in unity, and we're all up here conforming and saying, don't conform. Conformity. Well, Emerson said it best. Ralph Waldo Emerson, there is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, that imitation is suicide. None but he knows what that is which he can do, nor does he know until he has tried. The thing that really sticks out for me, and has always stuck out for me in this particular quote, is imitation is suicide. Just strong words. That is strong language, right? It's very strong language. Imitation is suicide. It is saying that to the degree that we conform with the rest of society, or what we perceive society to be, we are giving up our life. I say no. No more of that. Let's reclaim our uniqueness. Let's reclaim our identity. Let's reclaim the truth of who we are. Because God is here expressing as all things. This is inclusive of each and every one of us. And God did not say, you must be like everyone else. Because if God were to let that be an edict down from above, well, then we would have no choice. We would have no free will. We would have no way of breaking out of that. So the great gift that we have in this thing called life is the gift of choice. We find ourselves falling so easily into conformity. I do it still. I've been working at this my whole life. I'm 48 years old. Thank you. Well, the thing that just popped into my mind is I got my hair cut yesterday. My husband and I go get our hair cut at the same salon, and I got my hair cut first. And apparently there was a conversation with our stylist. We have the same stylist after I left, and she asked my husband if I got Botox. I don't get Botox, by the way. Not that there's anything wrong with Botox. I want to be really clear. But it was just one of those funny moments. I'm like, yeah, I don't get Botox. And she apparently was like judging me, sitting there like cutting my hair and thinking, I wonder how many units he gets in his forehead. So we find ourselves falling so easily into conformity because it helps us feel, ultimately, I think, like we are part of something greater, right? That's why we fall into conformity, because it's like, I want to be accepted. I want to feel part of the wholeness. And if I am living my own uniqueness, that may separate me or allow me to live in a perception of separation. And that's a very lonely place to be if I decide that's a lonely place to be. To walk your own path can be very scary and lonely. It can be. But you get to decide the degree to which you allow that fear to overtake you. Because it doesn't have to be scary and lonely. It doesn't. One of the great difficulties in living this life is feeling like we are doing it alone. And so we subconsciously ask ourselves, and this is what leads to conformity, when we subconsciously ask ourselves, am I going to now reinforce this feeling by accepting all that is around me? Oftentimes the answer is yes. I will reinforce the feeling by accepting that which is around me, whether I deeply agree with it or not. Now, the truth is, none of us can live this life alone. None of us are in this alone. Even if we feel alone, we're not alone. If I'm in a room by myself, I'm never alone. It's very easy to not feel alone when you're in a community like this, right? But if I'm in a room by myself, I am never alone. I am always present with the presence. When I am present with the presence, I can be me. In relationships, it is in relationships when we allow care to be a primary consideration that we all benefit. And that is the power of the prayer chaplains. They are here to say, we are willing to care for you. So find yourself in relationship with a prayer chaplain and let them care for you. Unconditional love and support is what brought me to a spiritual community to begin with. The reason I decided to stay in spiritual community. It is the reason that I ultimately came into this path of deciding to become a minister. Because it was all about the degree to which I could offer unconditional love and support and receive unconditional love and support and live in that infinite circulation of love. Part of radical self-knowledge, and I think that what we're teaching here is radical self-knowledge. Part of radical self-knowledge is knowing that we are never without, and that is because we are part of something more. We can never be alone because we are always present with the presence. I think that's something that really Emerson was trying to get at in his essay on self-reliance, from which that quote comes. There is something in each of us so much greater than we have ever been taught to believe. There is something within us that is so much greater than we have ever, here's the operative word, than we have ever been taught to believe. We are taught to believe less than. We are taught to believe fear. We are taught to believe shrink thyself. And then you'd show up in a Unity church and I say, do not shrink yourself. Shine your light, spread your magnificence all over the world. Because that is who you are. You are inherently magnificent because you are divine. You are this infinite presence and power showing up uniquely as yourself. That which we seek inside ourselves and recognize as coming from within ourselves is the promise of that something greater. And the promise is the divine in action in our lives. When we dare to soar, we may find we are far more than we ever imagined because we have given up the things we have been taught. When we engage in spiritual work, seeking within, what we discover is that which is here is reflected in our world. And it is the great lesson to say, if there is something that doesn't feel so good out there, it is not about trying to change what it is out there. It is about allowing ourselves to come into alignment and change that which is right here in our hearts and in our minds. And as we do that, everything else out there begins to reflect that which is within. Stephen Covey said this: we see the world not as it is, but as we are, or as we are conditioned to see it. So my big question then today becomes this: how and in what way, how have I become conditioned to see the world? Am I conditioned to see it through fear lenses? There's a lot of opportunity to put on fear lenses that has existed in this world for more than 18 months now. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get too deeply into it. But we have been conditioned into seeing the world through the lens of fear. And I say no more, because the thing that will heal is love. Let go of the fear and step into the love. Be the light and life of divinity shining forth and daring to soar into a new idea that says, yes, 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 I am that which is. And that is how we will end this experience that we're all collectively having right now. So I ask you, and I want you to really take this to heart, ask yourself this question: have we conditioned ourselves to be concerned mostly with what it looks like to others to be ourselves? Oh, I must do something to look like something for other people and for their approval. Let it go. If I teach nothing else here, I'm going to continue to teach the lesson that none of us requires the approval of anybody else so long as we approve of the love and the light and the life in our heart. Amen. So have we conditioned ourselves to be concerned mostly with what it looks like to others to be ourselves rather than what it feels like to be our authentic selves? And do we have the willingness to question that conditioning? Stop for a moment. Not that you were doing anything. Actually, it's a call to myself to stop for a moment, because I know I can get gregarious, I can get a little bombastic, I can get really excited. That's the God essence energy, like saying, yes, 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 yes. But I'm going to invite myself and invite us all to just stop for a moment. And in the quiet of our minds, just take a moment to consider in what way any one of us may have been short-changing the world of our authenticity. No judgment, because that may be the knee-jerk reaction, is to go into judgment about whatever it is that may come up for us. Just awareness. Just awareness. Because it is in awareness that we can make change. It's just an opportunity to see what comes up. And I'm not going to tell you that I have an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you. You get to go on that journey for yourself. I've been on a journey this past year and a half, 18 months. I started at Unity 18 months ago as the senior minister. And my time has been decidedly marked with these types of considerations. My choices as the minister here at this magnificent spiritual community have been tempered by conditions of precedent. My choices have been tempered by considerations of conformity and a desire, oh, you ready for this? And a desire to be liked. Because don't we all want to be liked? And still, a lot has shifted around here, even within the fact that I still temper some of my choices with the desire to be liked. Every day, still, I question. That's a sentence in and of itself. Every day, still, I question. And I invite you, each and every one of you, I invite you all to continue questioning everything. It is in the questioning that we find the capacity to release that which we might otherwise have taken for granted. And one of the holdouts in this thing called ministry, one of the holdouts for me has been the habit of using antiquated language. What are you talking about? Right? You're probably going, what the heck? Am I following this? I'm not really sure. This is the problem that I alluded to at the very beginning. I have been holding on to antiquated language that no longer serves me because it has become rote. The minute something becomes habitual and rote and has no effect on our feeling space anymore is the moment we should begin to question what it is we are expressing and experiencing so that we can open ourselves up to the more authentic self that was always there at the core to begin with. So, we recite together every single week some things. I put them up on the screen or the wall, and we recite these things together. And I've changed some of them up. I've taken the liberty of changing some of them up, and still, we're going to recite the vision, and we're going to recite the mission, and we're going to say the prayer for peace, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And, we say together this magnificently beautiful community prayer at the end of the service, the prayer for protection. I know you know it. right? By James Dillett Freeman, the poet of unity. But has it become rote? And what is it we are really saying when we recite that prayer for protection? The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. I have some fundamental disagreements with the prayer for protection. And you know what? So did James Dillett Freeman. He was interviewed, I think it was about 10 years after he had originally written the prayer for protection. And in the interview, he said, I wrote this at a particular time for a particular purpose. He wrote it during World War II. And he wrote it for a particular time, for a particular purpose, and he actually said, what is it we need protecting from? The prayer for protection doesn't actually really mean anything because we don't need protection from anything if we know who we are. And I want to ask you right now, because there may be some of you who are sitting here going, oh, he's threatening the prayer for protection. Check in with your reaction right now, because this is exactly what I'm talking about, the degree to which we decide to conform and say, this is the way it's been, so this is the way it must always be. Are you willing to let go of that? That's the question. Are you willing to let go of that, to let go of the conformity? If we are going to dare to soar, it is time we stopped allowing the ways we conform to ground us, because we will never soar if we continue to conform. That's the change I am asking for. That is the charge I am tasking you with today. In Romans 12, it is written, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is a very, very famous quote from Scripture we use all the time, and oftentimes we neglect the first part. Because we all, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. But remember, do not be conformed to this world. Live the life you have imagined by letting go of what you think you know. Walk out of step like those students do in Dead Poet Society when they are told to walk out of step. Be silly if you want to be silly. Be bombastic and gregarious if you want to be bombastic and gregarious. Be subtle if you would like to be subtle. Dance to the beat of your own drum in whatever way suits you best. Dare to be your authentic self, because your authentic self was meant to fly. Dare to soar. Peace and blessings. You are magnificent. I have some homework this week that I'm going to... It may not be what you're expecting, because you may say, go out and do something different, right? No. I actually would like you, in the next, and it's going to be 2 weeks. This homework is going to last 2 weeks. I'll tell you why shortly. I would like each of you to take a stab at rewriting the prayer for protection. Wow, that got a reaction, didn't it? Here's what I'm going to invite you to do, and the instructions will be in the email tomorrow on Monday. These are some considerations I would like you to look at in rewriting for yourself the prayer for protection. Make it non-dualistic. That means do not put God outside the self in your language. To say, the love of God enfolds me, right? That says God is outside me, enfolding me. Look at how you can eliminate that kind of language. Also, keep it firmly in the present tense. It is all here and now. It is not in the past, and it is not something yet to come. It is right now. So keep it in present tense. Make it non-dualistic. And question for yourself as you're doing this whether you actually require or need the prayer for protection in your life. And you may, and that's okay. I would love for you to email to me what you come up with. And there's a reason why. I would like for us as a community to rewrite what it is we offer at the end of the service every single week. But I didn't want to dictate it to anybody, because then what are you doing? You're conforming to my idea. And I want us as a community to come up with a new idea. So that said, let's allow ourselves to relax right where we are. And as I said, you may not believe everything you hear today, but I think there's something you heard that you believe. And so let's allow ourselves to quiet the mind and focus on that kernel of truth, whatever it is that we have found within ourselves as we drop down. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am surrendered in love right in this moment. Opening myself up and inviting each and every one of us to be open to allowing the authentic self to come through more wholeheartedly than ever before, for there is always room for more. There is always room to question, to grow, and to know, and to be. For we, each and every one of us, are this divine power, this divine presence, for there is only God and nothing else. Nothing else exists. And knowing this is the truth of who we are, I acknowledge and accept with joy in my heart the good that flows forth as we make new considerations as a community for what it is we would like to celebrate here in this thing called life at all times. And so it is with joy and gratitude in my heart and overflowing that I simply allow, I relax, allow, trust, and know this to be so. And so it is. Amen. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love. Please welcome Steve Ross to the platform. He is the treasurer on our board of directors.
Clapping help. We're clapping for everything today.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, Steve Ross, treasurer. So I want to tell you about one of my jobs here, besides keeping track of where the money is I get to stand up here on the third Sunday in February most years and tell you how the church did in the previous year. Well, this year I want to do something new. I want to stand up here and say unequivocally, income exceeded expenses for the year. I and my predecessors have not been able to say that in the previous 4 or 5 years. We've had to dip into investments to meet our obligations. So this year I want to say income exceeded expenses. So let me tell you a few ways you can give. You can support this church. So we're not passing a basket, but there's 2 baskets back on the table right as you go out the door. You can leave your check, leave your cash. If you are leaving cash, we would like you to use an envelope. They're in the back of most chairs. And that way, write your name on the envelope. So at the end of the year, we can give you a letter that says this is how much you contributed to the church this year. The other way you can give today as you leave is stop at the bookstore and leave them. They will run your credit card or debit card and collect your donation that way. Online, or when you get home, you can go to Unity of Tucson's website and click Donate. And that also gives you an option. There's an option there where you can set up reoccurring donations. So 5th of the month, take out $200 out of my checking account. You can set that up. You can send a check in. You can spend your 55 cents on your stamp and send a check in. You can call the office during regular business hours, and they'll collect. You'll walk up to the front of the bookstore, get your credit card number, type it in, and do your donation that way. Or you can also text, of course, that Unity of Tucson 73256, and that's a way to give. So we're always looking for ways to make giving easier. If anybody has any ideas, bring them forward. And so I want to thank you all for your generosity, contributing to this church, helping it run, so we can stand up here every Sunday and watch Jonathan do the Jonathan show. All right, our statement for divine giving. Ready? I share this gift with love, conscious of the inner presence
as the lavish source and substance of my supply.
Thank
I
you.
am rooted in the assurance that this gift blesses Unity of Tucson, and I trust in its ever-present circulation, knowing its blessings return to me. And so it is. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Steve. Ah, yes. If someone was willing to bring me the basket that has the forms inside so we can draw the birthday winner, I would love to sing happy birthday to everyone who is celebrating this month. Yeah, let's do it now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Indeed, yes. All right. I'm not picking favorites. This is all random. Oh, that's the one right there. The winner this month is Yumi. And it's for the charity chosen is Our Family Services. So thank you so much. Yumi, where are you? Thank you. Because of the dedication and because I had a lot to say today, we're running a little bit long. I'm very quickly going to go through our announcements today. Tai Chi with Monk continues Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. in Room A. Gentle Yoga with Lynn. Wave, Lynn, there she is. Gentle Yoga with Lynn is Mondays at 9:30 a.m. in Harmony Hall. Meredith Little continues her program called My Program, her workshop, every Thursday at 8 a.m. Christina Gilman, and Meredith, Christina, if you want to wave too. Christina Gilman continues her Express Your Magnificence workshop every Thursday at 10 a.m. Molly, do we have any room left for Gaslight? There are 3 seats left available to go to see Gaslight Theater production, the Gaslight Theater's production of Elfed with us as a community on December 18th at 12 noon. If you're interested in getting those seats, please see Molly. We are now taking payment for those tickets, so Molly can help you with that in the lobby. If you are here today and you've made a reservation, she will help you with payment on that. We are having a reception for Sally Inman, our artist of this quarter, whose work is in our Galeria Sagrada, which is what we're calling our gallery now, the Sacred Gallery, out in our foyer. And she has committed to donating to Unity the proceeds towards our roof fund. So if you buy a piece of art from her, know that it is helping us with the support of putting a new roof onto our building. I know that I mentioned last week that we were going to do a concert in support of the roof. There's been some extenuating circumstances, and we're going to have to delay that concert. But what I've talked to Darwin about is that we may look at doing a concert in the first quarter as a great benefit to the church. Office and bookstore will be closed starting this Wednesday through the following Saturday, 10 days later. The reason is because every year I go on a sacred retreat, and it has come time for me to go on my sacred retreat in Hawaii. And yes, everybody's like, oh, he's going to go to Hawaii. He's just going to sit by the beach. But the truth is I actually go to a retreat, and I go to the Hindu monastery, and I do a lot of prayer and meditation, workshops and things like that with a spiritual community there. So I'm getting to do that. I leave on Wednesday. I will return on Saturday the 16th. So that means I will not be here providing the message next week in service, but you are in for a treat because we have Reverend Charlie Tupper, who is coming down from Prescott to inspire this entire community. And I look forward to seeing it online because when service goes live here, it's 7 a.m. in Hawaii, and I will not have gone to my first workshop on that day, so I get to enjoy the service next week as well, live with you. So, office and bookstore will be closed. The bookstore, however, will be open next Sunday, 9:30 till noon, around the service as it normally is. Fall Spiritual Renewal begins October 17th. That is the first Sunday I will have returned. This year, I have chosen the book Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth as our guide, and you can pick up that book in the Desert Light, which is the name we've given to our bookstore. We're naming everything here, you see. Pick it up at the Desert Light. Also, if you would like to host or join a discussion group, please see Molly in the lobby after the service. You can sign up to be a host, and I provide you with all the information so that you have questions and guides for how to host your discussion group. Please see Molly, and if you would like to just sign up to be part of a group, see Molly about that as well. She will be in the lobby. We continue raising money for our roof. Help us replace our roof by contributing to the 80 by 80 Roof Fund. We are also accepting items for our indoor community yard sale. The yard sale itself will be held on November 19th and 20th in Harmony Hall, and I think we've got so much stuff that it's going to spill out, so it'll be half indoors, half outdoors, perhaps. If you have stuff you would like to donate to the yard sale, please do so. I have great news. We have now over $42,000 in that fund. So we are more than halfway to our goal. We want to hit our goal by November 23rd, which is the 80th birthday of an anonymous contributor who is offering a match of $20,000. Yeah, so we're deeply grateful to that particular individual. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are giving online and would like to give to that fund, make sure that you choose from the fund list, and it'll make sense if you're online. Choose from the fund list 80 by 80 Roof Fund when you are giving online to support the Roof Fund. I would like to say thank you to everybody who made today the magnificent, exquisite experience that it is. I want to say thank you to Wally and Don and Greg, our magnificent technicians in the back of the room. I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you to Winnell Waters, and I'll interview you next month. Thank you to Laura Cass and to all of our new practitioners. It's a habit. Prayer chaplains. Thank you to our prayer chaplains. I also want to say thank you to Steve for providing your inspiration in our giving today. Linda and the whole band, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you, whether you're online or in the room, for making your presence known here, not just in this room, not just in this community, but in this thing called life. Go out, thrive, prosper, have a magnificent life, because that's what you deserve. All right, you ready? We're about to do something. We're going to say this prayer, maybe for the last time in this form. Let's say this together. The light of God surrounds me. I am that light. The love of God enfolds me. I am that love. The power of God protects me. I am that power. The presence of God watches over me. I am that presence. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever God is, I am. And so it is. Amen. Feel free to stand. You'll recognize this song. Now there is peace on earth, for it has begun with me. Now there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, and this is the moment now. With every breath I take, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Thank you, God, for peace on earth, for it has begun with me. Make it a magnificent week, everyone.